Even though I walk in the room, I say who I am, I say my name, I say what I do, I say what I'm here for, they don't listen. This is something that you're going to have to deal with as a Black woman in a professional world, and it is draining. For anything that you do in life, there has to be some boundaries that are put in place. When I'm at work, I give it my all, and it's very exhausting. I wake up early, I put myself last, I go to work, I take care of my patients, they're my priority. But as soon as my shift is done, I'm done. I'm back to taking care of myself.
Dr. Eva, nice to have you. It's a pleasure. I know we've been working on doing this interview for a while now. I'm so happy and grateful that you're able to join us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. You just came back from travel, right? You were out of town, out of the country for a while. Where did you go?
We just came back from Ghana and South Africa.
Ghana and South Africa.
First time ever.
You did?
Yes.
Wow. How was the food, the culture, the music, the dancing? How was that, all that experience for you?
Ghana is a whole vibe. I keep telling everyone, if you've never been there, it's a must. You have to stop by Ghana sooner than later. The people are so nice. It's a very safe place to go. The food, the music, and December around that time, it's even more dope because that's when everybody's coming into town and there's so much going on. You're not even going to sleep. You're not going to sleep. I'm still trying to catch up on my sleep because I have not slept the whole time I was there.
Oh, wow. Before I get carried away and distracted about all this other stuff, let's get to know you better. You are a hospitalist in internal medicine, right? Tell us, first of all, your title, your position, then you tell us how you got into medicine and all that whole experience.
Okay, so I am a hospitalist. I'm an internal medicine trained hospital doctor, which means I'm only in the hospital setting almost 24/7. I see patients that are 18 and older only in the hospital. So I don't really have a clinic. I don't really do a lot of outpatient. I'm in the hospital most of the time. That's what a hospitalist is. How I got into internal medicine, I originally wanted to be a gastroenterologist, a GI doctor. And in order to be a gastroenterologist, you have to go through internal medicine residency first, which is 3 years, and then do a fellowship in GI. That was my goal. That was my plan, to just go through internal medicine and eventually get into GI. But God had other plans for me. While in my internal medicine residency, I got married, I got pregnant, and I found out during the residency process that I actually like internal medicine. I actually like hospital medicine, and I don't mind doing that for the rest of my life, even though GI is what I had my eyes on at first. Being married and almost having a baby made me realize that, okay, for me, it was probably time to just stop right there and just complete my internal medicine residency and move on.
Excellent. I know we have a lot to unpack in this talk, but we're going to do as much as we can today. I know there's some weather issues on the East Coast where you are, so we're going to be mindful of that. Having said that, how did you get into medicine? You come from a family of medical background. Your dad or your grandparents are in the medical field?
Yeah, I do come from a family of doctors. My dad was a radiologist and had his own practice, and my mom was a dermatologist and had her own practice. Both of my parents were doctors. They both had to go to their own jobs. They had employees, they had their patients. And so seeing that ever since I was a little girl made me want to be like my parents. So I don't remember wanting to be anything else but all I could remember was wanting to be a doctor.
Oh, wow. So I guess that modeling what parents do worked for you. Because today, most kids or teenagers, or not even teenagers, even kids, they're fed up of the school system. They don't want to go to school. Teenagers don't want to graduate high school. They don't want to go to college. What do you say to them, or what do you see with this trend in society today?
I think that representation matters a lot. And I always say that my story is different because I did have that representation right in my household. And so that's why doing what I do now, I'm a big advocate of increasing diversity in the medical field because we need more of us in this field to be able to make a difference in the lives of people that look like us, because it's only 5% of doctors that are Black, which is a crazy low number. So I think we need to start with representation first on TV and social media and the books that we read to be able to influence the younger generation to want to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, because a lot of them see things on TV that they don't see themselves represented in those roles. Not that there's anything wrong with wanting to be a football player or basketball player or a rapper, but that's what a lot of the kids see. And so that's what they think that they can be. We need to start with representation first and foremost. Now, I also know and I also understand that college is not for everyone. And so I always tell people to follow their heart, because anything that you put your mind to, you can achieve. Period.
Interesting. People follow their heart. Okay. That's some disturbing numbers, though. Only 5% are Black in the medical field. Oh, wow. I didn't know those numbers were that low. Okay. You are a mother and you have kids of your own. If your kid, let's say they came up to you and said they don't want to be a doctor, they don't want to go to school, how would you handle it?
I never really thought about that, because we are such a family who advocate for education, because I come from Haiti, my husband is from Ghana, and we understand that education is key. And so we encourage our kids to just study. We encourage our kids to go to school and gain an education. No matter what you choose to be in life, take your education away from you. No one. And so that's such a very important thing that I don't foresee my kids not even thinking about that, because that's all we've been talking to them about, education. I can say that I'm here today because of education. And that is something that I'm very proud of, because no matter who it is, confront me, you can never take that away from me, ever.
I guess that question is the reality of today. I meet a lot of parents that tell me that their teenagers, they don't want to finish high school. I was faced with this issue recently when my daughter, she's now 12. She told me, Dad, I'm not interested in going to school anymore. All the stuff they're teaching us in school is not practical what I see in the real world. That was shocking to me at first. He knocked me off balance. I'm not going to lie about that. I was so shocked that she would even say that. But now looking at society from a wider perspective, what is going on today because of this? We're in the information age. Everything is moving so fast. You see a lot of kids that are YouTubers or social media superstars and making millions. So I guess they see these kinds of things and they're like, okay, if this guy did not go to school and he's making more money than his parents and all his generation ever made working that went to school, why should I go to school? Why do I want to go to school? I think that those kinds of thinking influences our kids. Would you agree or not?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, everything that the kids are consuming is influencing them, and that's why it's very important as parents to be careful what you allow your kids to consume. But yeah, that will definitely influence your kids if they're on social media 24/7 and they see certain things. And a lot of things on social media is now reality. But then kids may not be able to tell what's real from what's not real. Those things can definitely influence how your kids think about life in general.
That is true. Just to add to that point, one thing I told my daughter was definitely I will not restrict you from doing whatever you want to do. The only thing I will say is whatever you choose to do, be the best at it. Because in life, only the best at any field gets to keep all the money, get all the accolades, get to go places. It's only the people that put their heart and soul to those things. Because if you watch the successful YouTubers, you can tell they love doing what they do and they put in the work. So if you put in the work, I don't care what you choose to do, as long as you're not hurting anybody, be committed to it, then go ahead and do it. That was my advice. Moving on, one of the other things I wanted to ask you about was, in this issue of diversity and I guess color, right? Have you had any experience, things that were directed to you because of your color? People talk to you in any kind of racial way at all?
I think as a Black woman, period, in any professional atmosphere, you are always questioned. And I say that all the time. I experience it on a daily basis. You always have to work twice, 3, 4 times harder than anybody else to prove yourself. It can get really exhausting at times because it doesn't matter how many degrees you have. There's always going to be people trying to question how you got there. And it's constant that I'm having to tell people I'm the doctor. Are you sure? Yes, I am. Like, it gets exhausting having to do this day in and day out. Or you walk in the room and somebody else walks in the room and they dismiss you because they don't think you're the doctor. Or I've had nurses call me or leave messages for me, and that happens so much. At the end of the day, telling me that the patients are saying they haven't seen a doctor all day. And
No way.
I mean, I kid you not, it's happening constantly. And even though I walk in the room, I say who I am, I say my name, I say what I do, I say what I'm here for, it goes in here and comes out right here. They don't listen, or they don't hear what you have to say per se. Or maybe they think you have a different role and they're still expecting the doctor to come in. And unfortunately, that's the reality of things. And it's not just with the patients, it's with the colleagues, it's with anyone that you encounter as a Black woman in a professional world. This is something that you're going to have to deal with day in and day out. And it is draining.
Wow. I guess because you don't fit into the profile. You know how when I was growing up, like all the doctors then were like older people, didn't package themselves very well. Because I guess when they look at you, you're a beautiful, young, Black woman in a field that they expect older, white, male people. So that throws people off a little bit. Wow, but you handle it so well.
I think that society has a stereotype of what a doctor looks like, of what a doctor is supposed to act, of what a doctor is supposed to wear. That is just that stereotype. So when they see something that's outside of that stereotype, they don't know how to act. They don't know what to think. They don't even know what to believe because they think you're lying to them. They think I'm lying to them. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, I'm your doctor. Why would I be here lying to you about that? And so you're questioned all the time. But then again, these are just rules of society, or what society is telling you you're supposed to look like, act like, wear, and it's not supposed to be like that. And I always say that medicine is what I do. I love medicine. I don't see myself doing anything else but medicine. That's what I do, but that's not who I am. I'm not going to change my identity and the things that I like to do because I'm a doctor, and I'm still going to treat my patients the same. I'm still going to do what I love to do. But then when I'm done with my work, I'm going to come home and switch to being me and doing what I like.
Wow. I love that. You have a lot to give to our audience. Recently, somebody said something about your scrubs, that it was too tight, or why are you wearing tight scrub on social media. Can you just tell us a little bit about that scenario and how you handled it?
I just wanted to do something fun and just post what I do at work without, of course, compromising any patient's identity or anything like that. And so I'm just going about my business, just showing people me walking to the ER and the things that I do. And the amount of negativity under that post was mind-blowing. It didn't affect me because I know who I am. I know whose I am. I know what my passion is. I know what my role is. So none of this affects me, just to be clear. But I was a little bit shocked to see how many negative comments were put under that video when all I was trying to do was show people what I'm doing day in and day out. Nothing different. It was just a regular day. And some of those comments were about my scrubs. Now, mind you, I'm buying the scrubs because they're selling the scrubs by a reputable company, and the hospital approves of the scrubs, and the scrubs don't change my intellectual ability. So I'm like, why are you guys focusing on the wrong thing? But yeah, people do say that about your attire.
I love your medical posts and even your journey, your social media, your lifestyle, because I think you letting people into your day-to-day life, or, that you do have a life outside from the hospital is a beautiful thing. I love that quote. It's like a cliche. I love cliches. You said, medicine is what I do, not who I am. That is the quote of the day.
They used to tell people, or maybe it's a stereotype that's out there, that once you go into medicine, especially as a woman, you're giving up on your life. You're giving up on the ability to be a great mother, a great wife. Or you're giving up on the ability to have time for yourself. That used to be, and it still is, what some people believe. That once you go into medicine, this is it. You're not going to be able to come home or have time to spend with your family. family. And that is not the case. Medicine is challenging, especially the process of going through medical school, residency, and all that. But at the end of it all, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm proof of that. I work hard, but I also travel. I also spend time with my family. I'm also able to spend time with my friends. I'm also able to like do some things for me. So I just want to break that stereotype, hopefully be able to inspire other people that look like me to come into this field, because we need more of us in this. And trust me, your life is not over once you go to medical school and become a doctor. Okay, I'm living proof of it. And I'm married to a doctor, and we're both very present in our kids' lives.
Wow.
And so that is definitely something that I want to squash and let people know that is not true.
Wow, touchdown. I love the way you answered that, because definitely we need more people like you. I love the way your approach to it. You can still be smart and have a functional daily life that, like everybody else, you go to the gym, you go to restaurants, you travel, you have fun. And because I guess that's another thing that throws young people off. They see all these professions, and most doctors from my generation growing up in the 80s and 90s, they don't enjoy life. They just work. They might live in nice, beautiful homes, drive nice, beautiful cars, but they look so stressed out. Most doctors at 50, they look like they're 70. The ones that are 60 look like they're 80. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the average lifespan of a doctor, they say, is it 65 or 75? And the average lifespan of a cardiologist is, I think it's 65. That was very sad, and that was a staggering statistics when I heard that number.
Things have changed a lot. What people used to allow way back when is not what we as a generation are now allowing. We are now focused about our mental health, our physical health. We're focused about setting up boundaries. So there are certain things that I'm not going to allow now that maybe 20, 30 years ago people used to allow. For anything that you do in life, there has to be some boundaries that are put in place. And this is what a lot of us are now starting to do. I love my job. I love what I do. But there's a certain time of day when my shift is over where I actually clock out, turn off my phone, turn off my pager, and let it be. 20, 30 years ago, I'm sure that we would have said, you know what, nah, maybe let me do a little extra. Maybe let me stay around a little more to help. I'm not doing that. And a lot of us are not doing that anymore. When I'm at work, I give it my all. And it's very exhausting. It's a high burnout, I'm not going to lie, because you're constantly taking care of other people and you're not really taking care of yourself during that shift. You can't continue to bring that at home, because eventually you're going to fail. Like eventually it's going to take a toll on you. It's not sustainable. And so when you understand that, then you know better. And if you know better, you do better. So trust me, when I wake up early, I put myself last. I go to work. I take care of my patients. They're my priority. But as soon as my shift is done, I'm done. I'm back to taking care of myself, which is very important so that I don't become burnt out, if that makes sense. Okay. That's why I travel, because traveling is my passion. That's how I can escape a lot of the things that are going on. And so I always encourage people to follow their heart and follow their passion. So if you're not working, you turn off the switch and you do what your other passion, what your heart desires. And to me, that's traveling. I love going internationally to other places to explore and just escape the stress of work in this environment.
Beautifully said. Before we go, we're not going because this conversation is boring. We're going because you have to rest. You just got back from international travel. You're jet lagged. You need to rest before you go to work, before you do all the things. So hopefully we'll be able to do this another day where we answer questions on how you control your blood pressure or eliminate your high blood pressure, what you do about diabetes. Is the staggering number of people that have diabetes in America, people that have high blood pressure, people that are stressed. So if you can just give us some tips, what you do, how to control that or how to eliminate that. And also give us your social media handles so people can follow you. People want to ask questions, want to buy your book.
You can follow me on, I think all my platforms are dr.eva B on all platforms. My website is drevabtoday.com, and my books could be purchased on Amazon.
How do people reduce high blood pressure or eliminate it? And how do they handle or eliminate diabetes?
There are people that have diabetes and high blood pressure because it's genetic. It runs in their families and they just have it. And some people it's because of their lifestyle. And I'm trying to minimize it here and make it more concise. And some people it's the lifestyle, sedentary, they're not really active, they're not eating the right things, they're overweight. It's a combination of things and it's more patient specific. So that's why I always tell people that I don't give medical advice on this platform, because if I haven't seen you, I haven't laid eyes on you, I haven't examined you, I haven't talked to you to ask you questions about your specific self, I'm not able to advise you on this platform, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. Well, thank you very much for your time. Are you going to be so kind enough to join us next time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We can do this again. Just let me know when and we can schedule something. Thanks for having me.
Dr. Eva, it's a pleasure having you on Enhanced Perception podcast.